class, my discussion is all about the Death Stars. So before we start to discuss the Death Stars, I will show you the picture that related to our discussion. So in this picture, what can you say? In this picture, it talks about the relationship. It is the love triangle of relationship between the main characters. So before we start to discuss the Death Stars, I will discuss first the brief introduction about the author by Paz Marquez Benitez. So Paz Marquez Benitez was the first Filipino modern English language short story of the Death Stars published in the Filipino Herald in 1925. So, Paz Marquez Benitez, she was among the first generation of Filipinos trained in the American education system which used English as the medium of instruction. So, the Death Stars main characters, which is the Alfredo Salazar Esperanza and the Julia Salas. So, in this, Alfredo Salazar and Esperanza was English, but Alfredo Salazar was fall in love with Julia Salas. So the settings of this story talks about the house of Don Julian and house of Judge Divali and Church and Cali Luz. So the point of view in this story is all about the third person using the pronouns she, he, and they, it. So, not only what the character knows and what the authors allows him or her to tell us, we can see the thoughts and feelings of the characters if the character is close to reveal them to us. So, the next one is the mode of the story. So the mode of the story is what sets up the feel of the entire story. So this affects how a person will react. So the synopsis of this story revolves around Alfredo Salazar and two moments. So we move on to the vocabulary development of the story. So the vocabulary development of this story is indolescent, easy, and errant, and kin. So, in this vocabulary development, the authors use it unfamiliar word too easy to understand the meaning of the readers. So, the next one is the plot, exposition, and rising action and climax of the story. So, first is the plot. Relationship between the three main characters, Alfredo, Esperanza, and the Julia. So, next one is the exposition. So, the exposition talks about Don Julian's house. Carmen was asking Don Julian about Alfredo and Esperanza and how meet and Julia Salas. So, the rising action of the story is he had gone neighboring with Don Julian to Judge Divali's house. He met Julia Salas. So, the climax of this story is after the possession for the Lady Sorrows of Alfredo, caught up with Julia when Julia found out about the Alfredo's wedding. So, the Death Stars talk about the forbidden love of the character, which is the Alfredo and Julia and Esperanza. So,